Well, hello there.
Hey,
How are you?
kind of sniffly, but I'm alright. So,
I've been there. I was there last episode, so I guess it's your turn now.
I know I'm gonna have to take a nose break. I got a roll of tissue over here.
Oh my god. I love how you I love how that's a callback to what I said. That's cute. So this is episode 2 of Discovering Westeros. You are 4 episodes in. Now we're recording these episodes one at a time. We're recording episode 2 currently, but you're now have finished episode 4. How are you feeling about Game of Thrones so far?
I think it's really picking up. The first couple episodes, I was kind of like figuring out the characters and stuff like that, but I'm really invested right now. I'm actually
Yes,
excited for episode 5.
yes. I'm actually very curious to see, like, has your mind changed on certain characters? Because my mind has kind of changed. Because as I'm rewatching the episode, um, last I told you I was not feeling Catelyn the way she was treating Jon Snow, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of softening up to her. Seeing how dedicated a wife she is and a mother she is to her, her children.
I definitely like her now, especially after watching the end of episode 4.
Oh my god. Okay. So I did warn you that I had a quiz for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be the things I do for love season 1 episode 1 quiz.
Oh, boy.
Um it's 10 questions. So I want to see how you're going to do. Like, have you been paying attention? Like, have you been absorbing everything?
I don't know. Guess you gotta put me
So
to.
so question 1 is the first episode opens on a group of men who fight for which organization?
Oh, God.
The the answer choices are because it's multiple choice.
Oh, thank you, Lord.
A, the Nice Watch. B, the Kalazar. C, the Gold Cloaks. Or D, the Wildlands.
I think it's A. You said the Night's Watch?
Yes, A is the Night's Watch.
Yay.
In the first season, how old is Brandon Stark? Bran.
Ooh.
Do you remember how old Bran is?
Is he? Hmm.
I have choices if you don't if you're not sure.
Okay.
Is Bran 9, 6, 8, or 10?
I think he's 10.
Okay. No, question number 3 is who says the man who passes the sentence should swing the sword? Is it? Do you notice without the questions?
I think I do. I think it's Ned, isn't it?
Yes,
Yay.
I think it's Ned, and Ned is short for Eddard Stark. So if you ever see
Oh.
like Eddard, it's Ned. Question number 4 is a raven brings news of death, which hold on, sorry. A raven brings news of the death of which character to Winterfell in the first episode?
Oh, I forgot his name.
Is it A, Robert Baratheon, B, Will
Hmm.
of the Night's Watch, C, John Aaron, or D, Lyanna Stark?
It is John Aaron.
I believe that is correct.
Hey, I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would.
I told you this was pretty easy. Number 5 is upon arriving to Winterfell, what are King Robert's first words to Lord Eddard? Is it A, I haven't seen you in 9 years? B, you got fat? C, you may rise? Or D, Lord Eddard Stark, I would name you the hand of the king?
I think it's you got fat, right?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay.
But
I
this
think
is
it's you got fat.
okay.
I know he definitely said that.
I'm gonna put that down. Let me read the question over to you. Upon arriving to Winterfell, what are King Robert's first words to Lord Eddard, to Ned?
Oh. Ooh. It's you may rise. What was it? What's the last one? You may rise.
The last one was Lord Eddard Stark. I would name you Hand of the King. Number C is You May Rise. B is You Got Fat. And A is I haven't seen you in 9 years.
I think it's C.
You May Rise.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 6 is who asked if he needs to explain the meaning of a closed door in a brothel?
Oh, I know that one. It's dang, why did I forget his name?
Oh my
Tyrion.
god. Yes, Tyrion. I was about to say. Okay.
I was about to call him Targaryen.
Number 7, I might have to help you with because this is not even about the show. Number 7 is who plays the role of Daenerys Targaryen?
I think I might get this one right. What's the options?
A. Gwendolyn Christie. B. Massey Williams. C. Emilia Clarke. Or D. Lena Headey?
I think
Headey?
it's C.
It is C.
Yes.
Now, how do you know that?
Because I was trying to figure out where I've seen her before,
Mm-hmm.
and what was I looking her up for? I don't know. I can't remember. I was looking her up for something. Hmm.
We're almost at the end of the quiz. A is which of these was not a gift Daenerys receives on her wedding day? A stack of books from Westeros. B, petrified dragon eggs. C, an ornately crowned an ornately jeweled crown. Or D, a horse. Do you need me to
Hmm.
read those choices again?
I'm caught between the crown and the. I don't think it was the books. I don't think she got books.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure on this one too. If that makes you feel better.
I don't think she would get books.
I don't remember books either, but I also don't remember a crown as well. But
I'm gonna go with books.
okay, that's a good choice. 9 is which of the Stark children tries to avoid being a part of the welcome committee for the royal family?
Hmm.
This one I feel like this one should be easy, but I'm gonna read the.
It's. Is it Arya? Wait, is this a trick question?
I don't know.
I think it's Arya.
I would say Arya too.
Yeah. Because I was trying to figure out whether or not they were going to include John. But,
John wasn't a choice, so.
okay.
Number 10 is what is Bran doing when he discovers Cersei and Jaime fornicating?
Climbing that wall.
Okay, I'm about to submit my signature answers. Oh, you got 2 wrong, so you got 8 out of 10, which is an 80, which is a B. You pass.
Oh, better than I thought I would get. Which ones did I get wrong?
Okay, so it's saying that you got 5 wrong, which is
Uh,
what were King Robert's first words to Lord Eddard, and it was you got fat.
Oh,
And I thought it was you. I thought it was You May Rise too, but I think that now that I'm thinking about it, he didn't say You May Rise, but he like moved his hands like you can rise with his hands, but he didn't say the words. But I thought that Eddard had told him he got fat, so it's just really weird.
that is weird.
And
I remember.
then yes,
Because I think wasn't it like kind of quiet at first, and then like a little bit of an icebreaker. He was like, "You got fat" as like a joke, and kind of broke the ice.
yeah, it was that. But I thought that Ned said it, but apparently Rob said it, the
Oh,
king. And you got the Daenerys gift one wrong too. The correct answer was she did not receive an ornately jeweled crown. But I don't remember books being given as a gift either.
right.
So
I might have to
obviously we
that.
were not paying attention. I almost want to go back and see, like, okay, what were these books that she received and who gave them to her?
Yeah, that is weird.
Okay, so are you ready to get into this episode?
I am. Let's do it.
So episode 2 is called The King's Road. Um, Daenerys is getting settled into her new home with the Dothraki. She's trying to pick up the language or whatever, and she's like, she's really getting along with her servants. Like you can tell she has a rapport with her handmaidens already. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Um, I think it's probably a good thing that she's doing that because you can tell she really doesn't have much of a relationship with her brother. So I think it's just more of her feeling welcome towards them.
Okay.
It's
Um,
comfortable.
the next scene we have Tyrion. He woke up in the stables. Apparently, he had gotten drunk and he had fallen asleep in the stables. And Prince Joffrey wakes him up, and Tyrion kind of gets up and he's just like, "Have you paid your respects to the Starks?" Because at this point, everyone knows that Bran fell from the tower and he's in a coma. He has yet to
Hmm.
wake up, and Joffrey was like, he hasn't paid his respect to the Starks because he doesn't care.
Right.
And Tyrion slaps him for
Or,
his lack of tact and him being so insensitive to having no compassion basically.
hmm. And I know, I think we talked about this last week. How like I kind of had feelings towards him, like he was a rude little boy and stuff. And you were saying that, his true emotions and how he feels about family doesn't really show up until later. But I kind of felt like he had an attitude from the beginning. Like he was a little bit of a snarky kid.
Yeah, I had specifically told you, could kind of give you a little teaser, because we were having a conversation about how now at this moment he does like Sansa,
Mhm.
but after what's going to happen happens,
Yeah.
his tune changes towards Sansa. And I know by now, if you've been on episode 4, you definitely see that he is
Oh
no
yeah.
fan. He's no fan of Sansa or the Starks.
Mhm.
So, what did you think about Tyrion slapping him? Like, did you think that was cool? Like, was that wrong? Like, should he not put his hands on Joffrey? And I will say that the Hound, who is like Joffrey's like his guard or whatever, he tells Tyrion like he's gonna, remember this moment, and Tyrion's like, I hope he
I
does.
thought it was a good thing because, like, clearly no one's gonna keep this boy in line. Like, not his parents, anybody. He just feels like he can do whatever he wants to without any cares in the world. So I feel like somebody needs to hold him accountable. And I feel like Tyrion's kind of obviously he's separated from the rest of the family because of him being a dwarf.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's more compassionate towards other people. But Joffrey not so much.
I would agree. I do think that Tyrion is more sensitive to the needs of others, unlike Joffrey, and basically also unlike Jaime and Cersei as well.
Right. He's a lot different, like not just physically, just personality wise than them.
They're all eating at dinner, and you can kind of tell that Cersei's kind of annoyed with Tyrion. Like she's looking him up and down, like, this imp is at our dinner table. Like, oh my god. And Tyrion tells her that Bran may live, and they look worried.
Mm-hmm.
They look really worried. Like, what do you mean he's going to live? Like, how could you say that? And Jaime was like, it'll be better if he dies. That would be he'll have to live the life of a cripple. And Tyrion is like, well, that's what they say. And I asked you this question how I was confused. Jaime during this convo, I think this is when Jaime was like, sometimes I wonder like what side you're on. Like, are you on the family side? And I'm just like,
Well,
we,
you all don't act like he's on your family side.
but not even that. I just feel like a weird question because I don't think that Tyrion knows that Jaime did it. So I'm just wondering, does he know? Like, was that a hint that they did tell Tyrion, "Hey, we pushed him. Like, we're the blame."
That is a good point because in this situation, if the kid just happened to fall, then look, there would be no sides to be taken in this case.
Right. Cersei
Mm.
Cersei pays her respect to Bran and Catelyn, and she tells us it's really sad story about how she lost her firstborn. Um,
Oh,
yeah, she lost her firstborn, a black-haired child, and he had what the flu or what did he have? The smallpox? I don't know. He had some
it's always a small stuff.
he had some disease that he was fighting. He's a little fighter, and I pray that the gods would spare him. And she's saying that that she hopes that the gods spare Bran, and that she's praying for his full recovery, and that the Lord does not take Bran's life. And Catelyn is touched by it, and she's like, I didn't know. Like she didn't know that Cersei had an older child that died. Um, I think I already know how you feel about this scene.
He is so fake.
So
Actually,
fake.
I'm actually kind of shocked a little bit that she kind of fell for it
Yeah.
because she already has these feelings towards the Lannisters anyway. Like, I know she's kind of sympathetic because, like, oh, you have a child that died too, but I still wouldn't keep my eyes off her.
I don't think she has these feelings yet. Cause other events haven't taken place yet. So I don't think she quite knows. Like she's no I don't think at this moment she has reasons to not trust the Lannisters, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
John is joining the Night's Watch. It's for life. John visits Arya and he says goodbye to her and he gives her a sword and they hug and they have this really emotional goodbye and you can really tell how close they are.
Mm-hmm. It kind of goes back to last week, but we were talking about how he has the better relationship with the younger kids than the older ones.
Correct. John goes to say goodbye to Bran and this is another scene where I was really annoyed with Catelyn. Because while John is like saying goodbye to Bran and he hopes he wakes up and just being really sweet and he's really hurt by his brother Bran, him being in a coma, Catelyn's like, please leave. I want you to leave. And I'm just like, really? Like even in this moment where he is saying goodbye to your son, you have to be a bitch,
What?
Catelyn?
She needs to get over it at this point.
I think she does need to get over it. I feel like he's a grown ass man
It's
now.
been years. You don't need to be holding a grudge for that long.
Exactly, and it's like you forgave Ned, and you're still with him, and y'all are still in love. But you gonna take it out on John? Like
The
it's
one
not
who
his
had no
fault.
choice, like,
Exactly, it's not his fault. He's here. Like
yeah, like he had a hand in the action that brought him there.
exactly. She gives this long monologue about how 17 years ago, the first time you left me, you came back with another woman's son, and John is just like, not John, but Ned is just like, I love you, but he's going down south because he has decided that he's going to be the hand of the king. So they give their goodbyes, and Catelyn, of course, is distraught. John says goodbye to his oldest brother. Um, when his older brother like hugged him, like we talked about last week about how he's pretty close with the younger siblings, but this thing with his older brother, Rob Stark, I think I'm having a hard time with his name. He gives him this really passionate hug, and you can really see that they too have love for each other as well.
Yeah, I definitely saw that too.
He says goodbye to his father, Eddard, Ned, and Eddard says something really sweet. I love this scene between them, but he reassures Jon Snow that you may not be a Stark by name, but you are a Stark by blood, and I love you.
Hmm.
And he asks him like, "What of my mother? Is she still alive? Does she care about me?" And Ned says, "The next time I see you, I will tell you all about um your mother." Do you have any theories about his mom? Like, do you have any like? Did you think about John's biological mom at all during the episodes?
I just assumed something happened to her. Like I know they wouldn't have much of a relationship now, especially like her and Ned. Like he probably wouldn't mention her too much, but I assume that she died or something.
Hmm. So you don't think she's alive?
I thought that she was dead, but him basically saying that he was gonna have a conversation with her, I don't think that she's dead.
So Robert and Ned have this talk, and we get a lot of information about the past. We learned that the Targaryens did a number on the Stark family. Like the Starks, the Targaryens are responsible for at least two of the deaths of the Stark family. Eddard's brother and his father, and we also learned that Rhaegar Targaryen did something
Mm-hmm.
to Lyanna Stark, Eddard's sister. Um, they even talk about Khal Drogo's marriage to um, Daenerys, and it was during this scene that I was like, "Well, how would they know that Khal Drogo and Daenerys are married? Like, they're not telling them. Like, they're not cool. So how they got this information? But they know about Khal Drogo being married to Daenerys, and they're kind of talking about and discussing the possibility that Khal Drogo might try to come for the throne because Daenerys, her family is like the rightful heir to the throne, and they kind of like talk about like could they, would they, and they talk about how the Dothraki historically have had no interest in like their affairs, and Ned seems to think that they won't come for the throne, but Robert is not too sure. He basically wants all the Targaryens dead. Did you have any thoughts about that?
I'm still kind of thinking about the fact that you said that there's no way that they would know about the marriage yet. Now it's making me think: is there a spy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because I really don't remember how they know this, but I'm just like, now, I don't want to spoil it, but you watched episode 4. There is a character who seems to be all knowing. So I'm just
Yep.
like, did he tell? But as we are
Something's
now,
going on.
that character has not been really introduced. So I'm just going to speculate and like, yes, like I would see how you would think that there would be like a spy, and that seems to be the only explanation because I don't see anyone in that camp telling them, okay, we're married now. Like, how did that get back to them already?
It is really weird.
Um, Catelyn is kind of depressed, and she's just staying by Bran's side, and she's kind of neglecting her other duties, neglecting her other children. And we learned that they have a son younger than Bran, who I completely forgot about. Um, I don't even think I know his name, honestly. Do you? Did you get his
Nope.
name? Okay. So they're a younger son. Her oldest born, Rob, kind of comes, and he's just like, "Hey, you have the duties. You cannot neglect your your kids." You know what I'm saying? And I felt him on that. I felt him, but at the same time, I have compassion for Catelyn. Like, that has to be hard. Like your son in a coma. Like, you want to be with the sickest of your children.
I kind of see it both ways. Like, if you have a kid that's like really, really sick, of course you're gonna want all your attention to be on them because you just never know what's gonna happen. Like, they're not sure whether or not he's gonna die,
Right.
and it seems like there's lots of people that can help attend to the other kids too.
I
At least you hope.
agree. I agree that they do have help. They do have servants. So now, at first, I was kind of seeing both ways, but now that you mentioned, they are lords and ladies. Like, they do have help. So why can't like give Catelyn this time to kind of be near Bran and just sit by Bran? So, uh, while they're talking, they see that there is a fire, and Rob goes to like put out the fire, and like Catelyn's like, "What, a fire?" So she kind of goes and looks out the window, and while she's looking, some man comes in who looks, he's an older man, like he's not young and vibrant, but he puts up a fight, like he's beating the ish out of Catelyn, and like they're like struggling, and it
Hmm.
becomes clear that he wants to kill Bran, and he goes to kill Bran, but Catelyn kind of a fight too, like they are really struggling, and then the direwolf comes and just kills the man. What's that?
Taming.
That was crazy. That was a crazy scene.
It really was. I was not expecting that. I feel like it came out of nowhere. I didn't expect her to be that strong, to be honest.
What did you initially think was why? What did you think he was there? What did you think that was about?
You already know what I thought. Like, clearly this is one of the Lannisters doing. Like, they came and sent somebody to kill the boy. Like, they just want him gone.
So you immediately thought about the Lannisters.
Mm-hmm. Because who else
Okay.
has motive to kill him?
Right. I agree. Um, Catelyn, she's talking to her older son and some of their people who work for them. I won't say they're servants, but I guess that's what they are. And she's talking about how now she suspects that Bran did not fall and that he was pushed, and that she suspects the Lannisters. Um, So, kind of pretty much, confirming what we think. Okay, the Lannisters have motive. They tried to do this. And Catelyn decides that she's going to go to King's Landing and tell Ned of her suspicions. She doesn't trust Ravens because she feels like Ravens could probably be like intercepted. So she
Hmm.
wants to go in person. We go back to the Dothraki village, and Daenerys, she's not happy with her sex life with basically like pretty much how I look at this scene. I'm just like, okay, Daenerys is talking to one of her homegirls, and she's just she's just
Not
like,
longer.
yeah, she's talking to one of her homegirls. Like the sex is not hitting or nothing. She's not satisfied. She's not really in it, and she's kind of like, well, like if I was talking to you, Ty, and I'm like, well, the sex is so bad. Like, do you have any tips? Like, what can I do like to freshen up my sex life? Because it's so stale and bland right now. Like, what can I do? And this scene is pretty funny. And I told you, like, this is why I feel like this show is like through like the male gaze, because
Absolutely.
there's like this scene where like Daenerys is on the bottom and her handmaiden is like grinding on her, and like they're having this intense scene. I'm just like, it's just so clear that this scene was made for the heterosexual men watching the show.
But it was so unnecessary. Like, why would that even happen?
So, what did you think about Daenerys like being so insecure and like wanting tips to spice up the sex? Like that's pretty much what it was about, right?
Yeah, I think a part of it is just her trying to gain some sort of control of everything. Because, I mean, she just seems like she's just kind of put in this position, and no pun intended. And they just want her to go with whatever. So she's trying to find something that makes her happy.
True. I agree. So you think it's a power move. You
Yeah.
think that it's less about her trying to liven up her sex life and more of she wants some power.
I think so, 'cause I think from that moment you start to see her like take on more not responsibility, but like take charge a lot more, speak up for herself, make commands, and she really wasn't doing that last episode.
Correct.
I think that was sort of the first step.
Um. So eventually she does uh try some moves. Uh, excuse me. So eventually she does try some moves, and her husband's hit it from the back. That's the only way I can describe it. Like he's doing doggy style, like that's what they're doing. And she's like, "Wait, babe, like, babe, I want to try something new. Like, can I get on top tonight?" And he's like, "What? What? What? Oh, like he didn't want to do it. Like it seemed like he was kind of resistant, but eventually he's
Yep.
like, okay." So she gets on top. And can you explain what happens like after she gets on top?
I mean, and there you have it. Things just are a lot better for her apparently. It's a whole new world for her.
So, can you kind of talk about Sansa and Joffrey? Because Sansa is spending some quality time with Joffrey. He's like, "Can I take you for a walk?" And she's like, "Yes." And can you just kind of describe what ends up happening, please? Like, what ends up happening? Because this is like the beginning of the end for Joffrey and Sansa.
It really is. So they're out, and taking her taking her for a walk like a dog. No, I'm just kidding. But they're outside, like trying to make her comfortable and stuff, going on a little date. And he gives her some wine and stuff like that, or whatever's in that little flask thing.
Yeah, she's
And
like, "My father doesn't let me drink."
oh girl, you're just gonna do whatever he says anyway, so you might as well go ahead. But yeah, so they're feeling each other, and then all of a sudden, you hear these kids, and it's Arya and was it the butcher's son?
The butcher's son, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing and just roughhousing, playing with the sword. And apparently Joffrey doesn't like her. He's like, leave her alone. And Arya's like, oh, we're just playing like normal kids would.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, Joffrey gets offended for no reason. I guess he's offended the fact that it's this butcher's boy and he's beneath all of them, that he's playing with them. But nothing that Arya or the butcher's boy says can stop Joffrey's his wrath right now. It's working. It's kind of creepy because it's like it's one thing for you to just go ahead and do what you're gonna do or like bully this boy, but he takes a
Mm-hmm.
sword and like cuts his face. I'm like, something's sick about this child. Like, what's
Yes.
really going on?
Yes, he got some evil in him. Some evil's afoot with Joffrey Baratheon.
Not a foot, but it was something is off with this child. So he starts like tormenting this kid, and Arya's like screaming, like, "No, we're just playing." Next thing you know, the direwolf comes and like bites him on the leg. And I kind of knew just based on his personality that something was going to go down. But what really irritated me was Sansa. It was like you see what's going on, you see that they weren't doing anything, and yet you're like, no, leave her alone. I mean, leave him alone. Like, stop, like talking back to him. It's like that's your sister. Like, clearly you know, like something's not going wrong. Why are you defending this boy?
I think the direwolf bit him on the arm, correct, not the leg.
Oh, it's not the leg. Okay, it was the arm.
And
Whatever it was.
Sansa did. She was kind of like, stop both of you. Like I think she did say at one point, like they both were acting crazy because after like, what did Arya do to? She did something to Joffrey, right? Like
Did she push him or something?
I think she pushed him, and then that's when Joffrey kind of went wild, and he was just swinging the sword willy nilly at Arya. I'm like, is this boy trying to kill Arya? Like, what the hell?
And then her sister's just not even stepping in or saying anything.
Like,
Like
stop it, both of you.
she's just at this point she's just desperate to just go along with anything he says. So
So
yeah, it's pretty getting at the end.
so the direwolf does bite him. Joffrey goes and he lies to Cersei, his mother, and
Mhm.
says that Arya and the butcher's boy attacked him with bats and that they stick the direwolf on him. And Cersei's like, I just can't have any of that. I just can't have any of that. And they have summoned Arya in front of the king, and like they're just all sitting there in front of her. And Ned comes in. He's just like, "What the hell? Like what? Like what's the meaning of this? Like how dare you have my daughter like out? She's a child." So to make a long story short, they call Sansa's lying ass in there, and they're just like, Sansa, what happened? Because it's really Arya's word against Joffrey.
Mhm.
And Joffrey's looking at her, and Sansa's looking at him, and she's like, I don't know. I didn't see what happened.
You
I didn't
like
see what happened. And when she said that, after watching it twice, I was thinking, so we know that Arya was mad that she lied.
Mhm.
Was Joffrey mad that she didn't lie enough? Is that what it is? Is that what changed? Because she could have just backed up Joffrey's story completely, but she did not. She kind of played it safe, but in her playing it safe, she ended up fucking up on both ends, if that makes sense.
Yep. I think that he was upset at her for not like completely being on his side because
Okay.
she was kind of playing the fence. Like she was loyal to him, but then also she didn't want anything to happen to her sister. But I think Joffrey expected her to be like all in, saying no, she did this, she did that.
Right. So
And can we just acknowledge the look on Cersei's face the whole time?
she
Like
just,
she was just enjoying the whole thing. Like, oh, I'm about to get.
girl, she was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like this was a real. still was a reality TV show. She has that
She was
bitchy
living
smirk.
for it.
It's like that one smirk she had. Like it's not a whole smile. It's like a little smirk in her eyes. It's just she just didn't see. She's just that bitch. She's a bitch, but she's that bitch as well. Um, I forgot to mention that Arya set her dad free. She knew what was coming, so she was
Oh
just
yeah,
like, yeah.
that
She
was a
set
sad
her.
moment. Again, me and these like wolves again. I got sad again.
You love the direwolves.
I was so sad. Like he turned back. Like, really, you want me to leave? Oh,
Right. So she sets her direwolf free, and they're like, well, are there any more direwolves left? Because once Arya says that she set her direwolf free or then she's gone, they're like, well, we want them all dead. So what ends up happening is they order, you know, to kill all the direwolves. But it was more so Cersei saying it than Robert. And so Ned was like, is this your order? Because Robert kind of walks away, and Ned wants to
yep.
make it clear, like, who is ordering,
In
who's in
charge
charge
here.
here? Who's ordering this? Is it Cersei or is it you, Robert? And I don't remember what Robert says, but ultimately Cersei, pretty much. So, Ned goes to kill, the dire wolf. Like, he walks up slowly, and it's just this build up, and they're
I had
flashing.
fast forward.
You had to flash forward, you couldn't see it.
But then I've like rewinded it back because I thought I missed something and I ended up hearing it anyway.
So, as Ned kills the dire wolf, and like the
Uh-uh.
noise.
I'm triggered.
Are you triggered? I'm so sorry. Trigger warning for like the dog lovers, the direwolf lovers, the little noise that the wolf is killed, and as the wolf is killed,
Mm.
Bran wakes
R.I.P.
up.
to a
Huh?
R.I.P. to a real one.
R.I.P. to our Santa's direwolf. Um,
We speak your name, whatever your name was.
I'm gonna pour a little water out for him. R.I.P.
They can't get nothing
Um,
stronger than the water.
you said what?
They can't get nothing stronger than the water.
I don't drink, so I don't have no liquor in handy. What you got something you can spill?
I don't. I got a little Croy. Got a little hint of grapefruit in it. That's it.
Gonna pour some of that out.
All right. This is for you, Direwolf.
So, what was your favorite scene of this episode?
My favorite scene would have to be the interaction between Arya and Jon. Because I just like when he has like a family member, or even when Tyrion was giving him that advice. Because I feel like he's just the odd man out all the time. Just to know he
Right.
has some level of backup is cool. But
Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
I also like how even though it was most like dramatic scene of the whole episode, I did kind of like how Arya still stood up for herself.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't mention that they ended up having to kill the butcher boy.
Oh, they sure did. Thank you for saying that. The butcher boy is dead. Um, it was
That
a
was
sense.
too much now.
It was a senseless death. It was a pointless death. And let me go ahead and open up my water, because I want to pour out some water for the butcher's boy as well. Maybe throw some meat on the ground because he's the butcher's
Yeah.
boy. I don't know.
My condolences to the family.
Condolences to the butcher boy's family. Um, my favorite scene, I would have to say, is when Khaleesi was like, "Can I get,
Uh-uh.
can I get on top? Can I take control?" I love her coming into her own. I love that. Like, she's gone from this meek sister to her, just like her trying to get some control. And I love it. Woman taking power. I love it.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Who was the MVP of the episode? Let's come to an agreement. Like, we have to agree with the one person as the MVP, and I feel like who's worthy? I feel like Daenerys is worthy, Arya is worthy, Cersei. Is Cersei the
No
MVP?
doggone well. Anyway, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Catelyn.
Catelyn.
Like,
Yes,
she's going through hard
yes.
times right now, and she had the strength to like fight off that guy who she had no idea who it was,
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb too and maybe say that the direwolf who ended up killing him, the boy is the MVP.
and he died.
No, that direwolf is not dead.
Oh, it is a different one.
Yeah,
Okay,
Santa's direwolf is dead.
all right.
So
Yay,
are
the doc.
so are we giving MVP to Brain's direwolf who saved his life?
I think so.
Maybe we can split this MVP. Can we give it to both Catelyn
Catelyn and the
and the
dog.
direwolf?
It was a team effort, really.
It really was. Like, it was a tag team. Once Arya got finished, getting her licks in, she kind of could tag team the direwolf in and kind of got him in to do like the finishing blow.
Yeah, we can do that.
So MVP of the episode is Catelyn and Brain's direwolf. And that is it. Next episode is Lord Snow.
Wait, we didn't highlight the most important shocker of the episode.
What did we miss?
As soon as the direwolf died, somebody decided to wake up.
I said that.
You did?
Yes.
I didn't hear that.
Yes. I'm sorry. I said as soon as he killed the direwolf, Brain woke up.
I did not hear that.
Girl, you missed that. You missed that iconic moment. Yes. Bran woke up. As soon as the direwolf died, it's like when one. What did he say? When one door closes, another one opens. So that is it. We will see you next time with episode 3, Lord Snow. I am Daylee.
I'm Ty.
Bye.